Hey everybody, what's going on? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome to the channel. Okay, first card that we have out is Five of Wands. Seeing you noticing something here. It looks like you not immediately getting involved in this and actually just checking it out first is what's being suggested. It's like something that you see, something that you notice. See how this page of, there's this thing that's happening here. See how the Page of Swords is like, Page of Swords is about checking something out and being like, what's going on here? Why is this happening? Like that type of thing where it's like, I want to observe and gather information about this. That's what's going to help you. So this can mean that you're feeling conflicted about something and you need to, you're going to go like full on research mode about whatever this is so you can sort it out. It can also be like a jumbled something that you're making sense of too. Because Five of Wands can be a bit chaotic where it's like there's energy here and there's energy there and like we don't know which way things are going. And so it can be that vibe of like things almost feel incongruent, but once you are able to put the pieces together and see the patterns, it's all gonna make sense. So right now, instead of like jumping into it and kicking things around, it's about sort of like keeping a safe distance from this, which feels like not going in here and then reacting and bouncing around. It feels like keeping a safe distance where you're like somewhat detached in a way where you're observing what this is that's happening. That doesn't mean that you're bypassing. It's more so like you need to take a step back so you can see what's going on. Because you know when you're in the middle of it, it's difficult to see what's happening, but what's going to help you is taking that step back to observe it like from the outside, even if this is something on the inside that's going on or something that you're personally going through right now. You being able to take a step back as if you're like observing somebody else going through it, it's going to help you make sense of this. There are patterns to pick up on here, but it may be something that like you haven't caught on to it yet. You're going to, you just haven't caught on to it yet. But if you like look at this long enough, it's going to start making sense to you. Some of you, there's going to be a story that will be playing out. I'm seeing Five of Swords. Okay, you're soon to be seeing something here. It's so interesting seeing the way that the cards are coming out regarding the way that they're facing like energetically. So this is the first card that comes out, and see how this is kind of like a panic or like a bunch of stuff that's happening. It's like very, very chaotic. Like dust is getting kicked up. We don't really know what's going on here. Page of Swords is like, okay, I'm clocking that that's happening and I'm seeing what's going on here. And it's like trying to make sense of what's happening and also gather important information that's connected with whatever this is that's taking place. Then Five of Swords is also looking at this too. See how like everybody's attention is looking at this? And then we also have Knight of Swords too. See how everybody's like facing this thing that's happening over here? So you have like observing about it. In observing about this, because it's conflict and it's because it's chaos, that may have triggered Five of Swords within Page of Swords. So it can be like, I'm seeing this thing that's chaotic. Part of me feels unsafe about this because I haven't made sense of it yet. So now this part of me is coming up and being like, what's going on here? Like, do I need to protect this part of myself because I don't know what's happening here? But it seems like you're about to, whatever this is that you've been trying to make sense of, it's going to very shortly be clarified, because this is something that's going to bring in clarifying information, and it's going to come like right through all of this to clear. It feels like a very Ace of Swords, like coming through to cut through to the truth and get to the point of this so we can know what's going on here. But I'm seeing Temperance, so like you have to wait for this to come through, but clarity is coming through. I would suggest not jumping to conclusions about this yet. You may feel like a little bit like, do I need to be on guard here? But I wouldn't jump to any conclusions yet, because you're going to be told what's going on. You're still meant to be like just observing what's happening here, but I'm seeing you're going to find out. And this can be like a more objective, like that's what's going on here, like a direct, I don't have to guess about that. So you're going to get information that's connected specifically with this thing that right now you're like, what's going on, and trying to make sense of it. Let me just clarify this Five of Swords. Five of Swords is being clarified by Four of Swords. You may feel like there's some sort of like instinct that's kicking in here, but you could also feel too like you're on edge, maybe because, I don't know. We're gonna pick more cards and see what's happening here with this. Interesting. It does feel like seeing something or noticing something, and the way that this Five of Swords is, it feels like taking an additional step back from something. But that may not be necessary, but it could be sort of like, I don't want to stand too close to this, but it can be like fear that's coming up for some reason. So it can be something where you feel like that's coming up because you don't feel fully centered. So you can have sort of your armor popping up a bit. But Temperance is saying that whatever this is, it's about to get sorted. Some of you guys, you're going through an activation or an upgrade. Okay. We don't know what direction things are going to be going in yet. You may also be trying to make sense of your feelings too. It's unclear what exactly is happening, but you know something is happening, is what I'm seeing. Like something is going to be taking place, but I'm seeing it be... It's like, rather than it being spelled out for you, everything was just like all knotted together. So I'm seeing like, how to even describe this. It's like you see the storybook, but rather than the words being written in a way that's comprehensible, it's like all of the letters are like mixed around all over the place. So it's like you have the whole thing there, but it's like not really making sense. It's like that type of thing that's happening. But I'm seeing it's because it's not time yet for for it to be like unfolded. So it feels like you even noticed something like ahead of time, maybe before you were like, not that it was before you were meant to, but it was kind of like, it feels like you're early to something here. Like you're noticing something when it's like in the conceptual stage still, and it still hasn't worked itself out enough for it to be intelligible, but you may energetically be seeing something that's going on. So you know that something is happening here. As I said before, like you have the whole storybook, so you're like, this is the thing, but like it doesn't make sense yet. So like you have the whole thing, it just, you can't decipher what it means, but it's because it's not time yet. What I'm seeing is that there's going to be more information about this, but you could have felt on edge because this wasn't making sense, but it was specifically because it's not time. And you can relax. This isn't something that you need to be up in arms about, is what I'm seeing too. But there could have been this part of you that was like, do I need to worry about this? Why isn't it making sense? But it's because it's not supposed to. I'm seeing you're going to get direct information about this. It's going to come through. Everything is going to feel very synchronistic with the timing of this. There's also stuff about the direction still being up in the air, like something is still happening. And that's why like it doesn't make sense yet, because it's not time for it to, because there's like not a story to tell essentially. There's not a story to tell in a linear way yet, and that's why. So you can sort of see all of this stuff that's going on all over the place, but it's like, how does this make sense with this? As I said before, it's like trying to make sense of like a pattern that's happening, but you're not at that point where this can be made sense of, but it's going to be. So you're just like seeing something as it's forming essentially, but you're like very early to the party. Like you're the only one there and nobody's gonna show up for like 3 days. Like that type of thing. Although I'm seeing you still trying to decipher what's going on. So that's what's up with this. Let's see what else. This goes over here, you here. It will soon be making sense to you. I'm hearing spend a long enough time figuring it out. Yes, and then you'll be able to check it out and assess. Okay, so this big mess, whatever this is over here, this thing that is non-linear, is going to be coming down in some type of form that you'll be able to interpret, is what I'm seeing. You're on the lookout right now, sort of assessing where you are with things, and it seems like what you can do at this point too, to try to move forward. So you're like, where do we go from here? And how do I get this thing to maybe move as efficiently as possible? You also need to look at this part of yourself that may be feeling a little bit ungrounded right now too, and see how that may be influencing your perspective of what this is that's happening. Because if you're feeling like this is going to be something bad or like something like that, I'm seeing your ego be like, do I need to be worried about this? But it feels like it's a step behind. Like it feels like that part of your ego hasn't come out yet to be like toying with this and figuring it out. But it feels like it's like perked its ears up and be like, do I need to get involved in this? But I'm seeing it's something that's not necessary. So your guides are like, just, you can relax with that. It's just unnecessary. Like, you don't need to be armed up for this. But it can be that part of you that's like, do I need to be ready? But you don't need to be for that type of thing. That's not what's going on here. But you may be noticing that, like when I'm in a sort of inconclusive situation where things are moving around and it feels ambiguous, I may automatically start feeling a bit defensive about it. It's like that type of thing. Because I'm not seeing you have any reason to believe that like this part of you needs to be up in arms about this, but it's sort of like peeking over your shoulder. In a controlled way, it just feels like something to be aware of, that it could influence. It's based off of past stuff for you, why this would be coming up. Surprise, surprise. Okay, I'm seeing more about what's going on here. There's conflict that's related to a message that you're receiving. Which means that there can be something that's feeling like mixed, that's connected with what's being brought to you. So whatever this is, it can feel somewhat controversial, and you're meant to be sort of breaking this down. Let's simplify. Somebody's reaching out to you. There's conflict between you and this person. You're trying to figure out like what's going on here. You need to break this down and figure out what's going on as far as the conflict, like what actually is the conflict and what's happening here. This is connected with somebody that's reaching out to you, and you're just sort of like quizzical about this in the moment that they do, but you know that something is like being worked out essentially, and that something is not smooth, and so there's like a lot of chaos. I'm seeing you feel a type of way towards this person because of something that went down in the past with them, and so that's why this part of you feels guarded about what this is that's going on. But things are about to be clarified to that part of you that may feel a little bit perked up about what's happening here. Like it's all going to make sense. So you're not going to be left with anything feeling like it hasn't been clarified. A bunch of stuff is about to be clarified. It looks like this person wants to work something out that's connected with something that had happened in the past. Like it's time to address this even. I think that before you even think about responding to this, it's about looking into like the actual conflict that comes along with this person. Like why are you feeling that way? So it's about breaking that whole thing down and figuring it out. There's also a part of you that may feel closed off that's based off of something historically for you. So that part of you, it feels like there's also recognition of that part of you that's coming up too. Like it's this part of you that feels protective over you based off of past events is what I'm seeing. There's something here that's going to be clarified. It seems like it's about a relationship. And something that happened. Yeah, it's about like the progression of something. Meaning maybe how something played out here. Your guides are saying that when you do take action to tap into the heart space, to focus on what you want and how you feel, I feel like there's a particular way to move through this. To see the sun, this would sort of be, sun has to do with so many different things. It feels like shining your light through this situation, no matter what it is that you're communicating, but sort of like being ready to show up in the way that you need to and not dimming your light. Yeah, that's like the main point of this with how you show up to it. even though it may seem at first like conflict is being brought to you, this is actually meant to help things. Like something is being worked out to create more of a sense of harmony within your life, actually. So that's why I'm seeing this is coming through. Regardless of what this is, like where you end up taking things, what I'm seeing is that something that needed to be addressed and ironed out because it was time for this to be addressed. That's why this is coming through now. So you can be like, this is bringing up a whole bunch of stuff and like leaving all this chaos on my doorstep, but it's actually like chaos that had sort of been under the rug, that's being like, we lift the rug up and see, oh, that's been going on there the whole time. And it's so you can like basically clean it out, like you can clear this out energetically. That's why it's coming up. So you can like move forward with things. So this is something that's definitely meant to be helpful for sure. Even though at first it can be like, how is this going to be helpful? But it's like something that's being worked out here. And it may be conflict that you still feel that's connected with, it's connected with something that had happened. That feels like maybe a wound that you still carry even. It can be like a relationship wound as well. Or something that you're looking to find answers about. I just want to pull a couple more cards and see if there's anything else that seems to like make this make any more sense. Okay, what this was that happened, it looked like it was something that you may have felt resigned within this situation, like you just needed to move forward with things. Because this may not even be something that you're interested in at all at the end of the day. Once you make sense of it too, like you may work something out here and then be like, okay, I can like really move forward from this. But it can also be something like having this Knight of Cups and having Eight of Cups. It can be like somebody wanting to communicate something with another person and another person being like, I don't want to hear it. Like, see how this can be like somebody coming through and being like, hey, I have something to say, and this person be like, it's not anything that I want to hear, and so they like continue moving on. It can feel like that sort of thing, but that may be something that you're trying to figure out as well. Like, is that the case within this situation? Yeah, it looks like there's going to be an evaluation, and if you feel like this has nothing for you, you're going to move forward, because I'm seeing you actively manifesting peace within your life and that type of energy. So I'm seeing you be like, I'm not inviting chaos into my life, like that sort of thing. Not inviting conflict, not inviting chaos. You're inviting peace into your life. Successfully too. I'm hearing something about winding down. Yeah, this does seem more than anything like there's a revisiting, and it's in order to clear out something that had still been looming energetically. I don't know like how aware everyone was of this, but it's like that type of thing. It's like conflict that was unresolved in some way, but I'm seeing it's not connected with something that's going on now. It's connected with like a past situation. And it even feels like it allows you to get to a point where you don't feel like you need to hold on to this anymore because you recognize it's not serving you, but you had to address this in order to be able to do that. Because like even if when we're holding on to something painful, if our belief system supports that, we still hold on to it because we think it's benefiting us somehow. And so there's something here that needed to be worked out, so this actually gives you the opportunity to work something out. I'm actually seeing this be like a big thing. Like it's a really big deal for you from an energetic and spiritual standpoint. And until this point, it was something that was actually like stuck energy. Like some of you, I'm seeing there's going to be some sort of like physical alleviation that's connected with this because it's going to release energy physically within your body. Like there may be a body part that you feel like pain within, either chronically or like sometimes there's a revisiting of a particular area, and this is going to release that. But some of you, there's like a knot in that area. This is something that you may not have known. There may not have been an awareness that you were still holding on to this, but I'm seeing this all is all going to come to light is what's going to happen. And it's going to also help you reframe something, so that's why this conflict is going to be worked out too. But for some reason I feel like you may not have known that this was something that you were still holding on to, but it may be something that just like physically it's still being held on to, because there's an energetic component to this. So it can be something that there's not like the consciousness that was linked to this, and this is like opening up the portal for that to actually be released physically. And there's going to be an alleviation because of this, because I'm seeing there's going to be like a groundbreaking. This is like something is going to, there's going to be like an ascension of some sort that happens that's connected with this. It feels too like there's gonna feel like this notion of needing to go back into it, but it's only because it's like something unlocked and it's the time to be doing this. So there's a very specific, it feels like a very specific like energetic portal that this is connected to that allows this, it's allowed to be like possible within this time frame. But I'm seeing there be like a lot of things that this is all connected with. It seems too like it's going to allow you to express something that maybe you hadn't expressed before, but you may have not known that that was something that was still lingering, but it didn't allow you to move on. But it may be in a very particular way, and it may be in a very subtle way that there was like not an awareness of it. It seems like that because this doesn't feel like this whole big thing that you were holding on to where you were like, I'm aware that I'm still holding on to this. This may be something that feels very minuscule, but it was somehow being like kept within your body still, energetically speaking. But then there could be at times physical manifestations of this. I keep seeing things that are connected to knots. Like it can be somewhere like a problem area physically for you within your body, like somewhere where like you have something repeatedly pop up. It can be different for each of you too. Like some of you may deal with it every day. Some of you guys, it may be like just when you get stressed that part of your body is like painful or something like that, or you have issues with it. It's like that sort of thing. So what's going to happen is that something here is going to be brought up, which is going to feel like chaotic immediately, but it's all going to be straightened out. So just keep that in mind when this thing presents itself to you, you may look at it and be like, I don't have time for this, but it's actually going to allow you to go through this whole process of release. This is something that's going to benefit you. It's being brought up because it's here to benefit you, this conflict. It's going to be addressed. There's going to be something that's expressed emotionally that had not been expressed before. It's going to allow you to fully move on from this conflict that you may not have known that you didn't move on from still in some way. Again, it may be a very subtle way where it was like, wow, I had no idea, but it may feel very, very subtle the way that this comes through. You're now at this point finding out what this is about and what's going on. And you're being told before this happens so that you can have time to prepare mentally and set your intention for what this is going to be. Because if you look at this and you're like, this is something that's going to create a problem for me, or this is something that is not going to benefit me, or whatever, like that's going to set the tone for this whole thing. Because I'm seeing this is something that feels somewhat triggering because of what happened. But also, if you right now set the intention for when this thing pops up for me, you're going to know immediately when this pops up, because you're going to feel conflict and you're going to feel like there are things happening inside of you, like inside of the heart space and like your feelings and your gut that are going like all over the place. And you're like, I don't even know where to start. Like when you start feeling that tension, that's how you know that this thing has arrived for you and what this is. That's how you'll know what this is. If you set the intention now that when you start feeling like this, you tell yourself, this is something that's going to benefit me because I'm going to be working it out, that's what's going to happen. So you're in control of how this thing ends up manifesting. So that's why you need to like understand the power of that and how the intention that you're setting now is going to impact this process and what it's going to do for you or against you, depending on how you move through with this. Your guides are saying you're probably going to feel triggered when this happens, but if you can work with your ego and be like, this is something that's going to benefit us to move through, where something from the past can be rectified, you're going to be able to heal from this. Even though right now you may be like, I can't think of what this is. When this pops up, you're going to know exactly what this is. And you're going to be like, wow, I didn't know that that was still going on for me. But it's something that you were holding on to even in the tiniest of ways still. There's going to be information that comes through. It's going to be very direct how this is delivered to you. You're not going to miss this. This is going to be clarified for you, because it is meant to enhance the harmony within your life. And this is something that is going to create further success for you. This is something that's meant to benefit you and help you to maintain the type of energy that you want to maintain or to get to. So this is meant to increase harmony and the inner workings of things. And it's meant to be supportive to your foundation. And this is a good thing that's happening. This is benefiting you. It is time now to address this when this comes up for you. Again, you're being prepared now so you can set the intention for when this comes up. So when it comes up, you're not like, what's going on? And then your ego gets to make the call. This is about you consciously setting the tone here and the intention. This is going to benefit me. This is going to benefit you. It's like that type of thing. This is meant to help you. This is in alignment. Like you are safe, you are protected, whatever it is that you need to communicate with yourself to know that this is something that it's coming up and it will benefit you. As I said before, there's like a very specific like energetic portal time frame thing for when this comes up and when it's available to be addressed and cleared out. And it's something that you're going to walk away from feeling even more intact, if that's your intention, okay? I'm hearing Libra very, very strongly. This can be connected wherever Libra is in your chart, but Libra is also connected with justice and it's connected with our relationships too. So this can be something that's being made right, that justice is being brought to, where there's going to be justice for a situation. I'm looking at Pluto. I'm hearing Orion, something like that. Could be Orion. Oriole, something that sounds like that. I'm seeing Pluto and I'm seeing Mercury. I'm also seeing Jupiter and Neptune. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.